At the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 146, and we are going to reverse roles today. It's Ask Pete Day. My friend and my producer extraordinaire, Chris Stone, will be joining me. And let's pay the bills first, and then let's get started with the questions. If you're watching live, you can ask questions. So ask away. Chris will pull the questions up, and away we go. Hey, guys, gals, if you haven't read my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? Over 101 chapters and more than one idea in each chapter on how to increase your sales, increase your profits. More of a marketing book than it is a sales book, but anything that I do bleeds sales. So if you haven't already bought it, go to Amazon, buy your copy today. And if you have any questions on how to implement anything, I will give you a free half-hour coaching call. Call me at 419-560-3169 or text me at that same number, and I will give you a coaching call for free to help you implement any idea in this book that you want to implement. Chris, welcome to the show today.
Pete, ready to sell a million. We have to talk about the Mattress Industry Network today, especially today, right? Because
we do.
We actually are getting questions in the Mattress Industry Network. So if you listen, I've heard this a million times, Pete. So let me take this, if you would.
Sure.
Would. Yeah. The Mattress Industry Network right here is a group. If you are in the mattress industry and you want to share ideas, you're stuck with something, you don't know what's happening in the industry, you want to get some really great concepts from some of the stalwarts in the mattress industry, not just Pete Primeau, who's super active in that Facebook group, but people like Jeff Janakovo, people like Chris Teheny, people like Andrew Anderson, who has a question here today on the show. You've got to join the Mattress Industry Network. There is the QR code. QR codes, I don't know if you knew this, Pete, but QR codes are they're seriously making a comeback, man. I think if there's one like maybe positive thing that's come out of the pandemic, it's been QR codes are a thing. So if you want to just make it really easy on yourself, you just scan that puppy with your phone and it'll take you right to the Mattress Industry Network. Steve Houck, thank you for your sponsorship of the Pete Primeau Show and for just joining us and being awesome at Boise Mattress. And man, how did I do, Pete? You think I've heard that? Pretty good. Pretty good,
brother.
Awesome.
Hey, your Wolverines won and your Lions won. Nothing could be wrong in life. It's all good. Hey, my Browns won.
I know, and they beat the Ravens too, who are, potentially Super Bowl bound. So we've got some people that are chiming in. Now, I got this wrong last time. This is not the name that we see here on YouTube. This is someone. It's not Anita Knapp.
Nope. Jennifer, how are you?
Jennifer, welcome to the show. And we've got Tim. Good day, fellas. Look at that. That's like a Good Morning Vietnam. Remember that, Robin Williams?
And the myth, the legend. He's joined us. Nice. All right. Well, we can get the show started if we got Tim here. Thanks for being with us, Tim. I appreciate you.
And of course, all the way from South Africa, our friends, Guy and Kyle Danes. Evening, gents. Rock. Listen.
Thanks for being here, guys. I know it's late at night for you guys, and I appreciate your support. You guys are absolutely the best. These guys know sales, they know business.
Yeah.
And they are icons in their own right, and they are doing some great things. And I'm just deeply touched that we're doing enough to keep you guys coming back each time.
Yeah. And we do have, we should make mention this because we have some people that are joining backstage as well. So this is the first for the Pete Primo show. So for those who are watching, and we see that there are folks that are watching, and if you want to just lean back in your chairs like you normally do, and listen to the sage wisdom of Dr. Pete Primo, you could certainly do that. But we're opening up the stage here. So if you want to join us, and you're in the Mattress Industry Network, so we've posted the link for you to join in the the Mattress Industry Network Facebook group. So Pete, you posted there today,
Yep.
and so if you got the stones, I am Chris Stone, and you want to join us here live on Ask Pete, you are welcome to click that link. You'll pop in backstage here. I'll see who you are. You type in your name and that whole thing, and you're welcome to join us. Ask questions, hang out. Until we decide to boot you or you want to leave, one or the other. So anyway, that link is in the Mattress Industry Network Facebook group on Facebook, of course. And we had a person join, and then they just decided that they would jump off. So
I'm really going to be on the show. Oh no.
I don't know if they knew, but that's okay. This is what happens. Pete, do you want to jump into the question we got today from the Mattress Industry Network, or some of the ones
let's do that. I saw Andy had a question, so let's do that.
Okay. So we're going to go here to Andy here. And okay, so and is it Andy Anderson? It says Andrew Anderson, but I want to make sure that I get this right. So Andrew Anderson, would you open a store in today's economy or wait? Would you ever consider buying a store, and it says that's newer, losing money, but maybe never losing money, but has a good reputation and good lease terms?
Wow, there's a few questions there, huh? Andy, can you clarify if it's losing money or making money? Can you do that for me? I know there's a little time lag, so I'll be patient. And so I'm going to say this to you. Some really great businesses have opened up in down economies. And I've done a lot of business in down economies. As a matter of fact, I tend to have my best years ever in down economies. And that's simply a function of going to work every day and working hard for my customers and making it happen. And some of the other reps slow down during down economies. I don't, I accelerate. So can a store make money in a down economy? Yes. Can you open a store and make money in a down economy? Yes. Having a good reputation is huge. Having favorable lease terms is huge. What I would really want to encourage you to do is to evaluate the business carefully from the inside out. And if you've ever seen my business cycle, that would start with an analysis of your advertising, an analysis of your display, an analysis of the merchandising, analysis of the sales training or lack thereof. And if you work there, you're going to be intimate with all of this stuff. And what you're going to have to do, if it's someplace you work, Andy, what you really need to do is put your ego on the back burner and look at areas of improvement. Also, I would look at the area. Is the business coming to you or is the business leaving you? What is happening in terms of development? And that's where it becomes really valuable for you to join a local chamber of commerce. There's a lot of old geezers in there that are really into market trends, and they know where the real estate is going because a lot of those guys and gals in there are real estate people, and they know what's happening, what shifts are happening in the next 10 years. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of that shift. Um, Guy, is this Kyle or Guy?
It could be either or, but I think this is a good point because I think there's two things here. The business coach, I tell you what, getting a business coaches have business coaches, right? It's and just like mentors have mentors, right?
The good ones do.
The good ones, right? I should say that. The good ones do. It's key. It's absolutely key because they're gonna see things you're just not. You just have whether you're
close.
you
don't
have
have
staffs,
perspective.
right? Exactly. And you also, Pete, I think this is the other thing that's key is you have to be willing to, when you're listening to a coach, to trust that they know what they're talking about and
Right.
to let them lead. And you know what? I might even disagree, but let's give it a shot, right? And kind of be open to other things. And if you're too set in your ways, what's the coach there for? Right? What are you paying them for?
Right.
So I think this is a really good point here, and Stu's chiming in here as well. I believe if you plan to wait till the going gets good, this is related to Andrew's comment. If the going gets good, you're too late. You'll likely never do it. It's an excellent point. It's kind of like buying a new computer. It's already outdated. Just don't stop waiting for things to turn around for yourself. Find out if it's a good thing for you, a good investment for you, and then work hard at it, or you might never. The timing's never right. It's sort of like getting married or having kids. It's like if you
Never
wait
right.
for it, it's never. You just got to do it, right?
Yeah. And that really is a great point, Stu. Thanks for and Stu's going to be on next week, by the way. So
excellent.
I'm super excited.
forward to it.
Stu, email me a headshot, and we got to come up with a title, brother. But
otherwise, we're going to take that image that you've got there on Facebook. It'll be all.
we'll take
on,
any
on
random
YouTube.
image that we see on Facebook.
And it
Probably
might
the
not be
most
very flattering.
unflattering image that we can, just to teach you a lesson, Stu, because we love you. Before we go back to Guy, I just want to stay with Stu for just a second because it's a great point.
Yeah.
Your ability to get a favorable agreement on a lease, on the sale of the business, because business conditions are not ideal, have dramatically increased in your favor. And so understand that you have leverage now. When business gets good, you lose your leverage. When business gets really, really good, and probably won't for a couple of years, you lose all your leverage. Now you're going to pay a higher rent. You're going to have to pay a higher price for the business itself. So don't think in terms of just a price for the business. Think in terms of terms. A lot of times you can buy a business with no money down. I don't mean to sound like a real estate commercial, but you really can buy it with no money down. You can pay for it out of the profits of the business if it's profitable, and you basically have a monthly payment that you make to the owner. Most owners are open to it. They continue to get paid in their retirement. They love it. I've seen so many businesses transfer this way successfully. It's not funny, and I couldn't even put a number on it because there's been so many that I've seen in 41 years. So, Stu, thank you for that comment.
Yeah.
Did Guy or Kyle have another comment?
Guy's just chiming in. You got to be teachable, right? So if you getting a coach was the original point, but certainly being open and ready to listen to that. And otherwise, why are you paying for this person? Stu's got another comment here. I got a $3,300 BNI sale from a referral that wasn't even in my chapter Friday. Stop waiting for people to come to you. Be proactive. God, I feel like Stu's on the show already a week early.
That's okay. I love it. Thank you, Stu. Anybody that doesn't know what BNI is, they are a networking group.
Oh,
and you should be in networking groups. You should be in multiple networking groups. Some will bear more fruit than others. Beyond BNI tends to be a better one. You're not going to have success all at once. It's something that you have to make a commitment to. You need to go to the meetings, whether they're weekly or biweekly. You need to contribute. You need to give.
Yeah, you got to
And-
give referrals to get referrals there. It's not
Yeah.
just a hang out and get thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, way to go after it, Stu. My hat is off to you. And in case we have a different audience next week, we should bring this up next week. We can't say these things too often. You have to go get business. You cannot lay down and sit there and pray and hope. Not that I don't believe in prayer, I do, but I think that you have to have actions and that you have to go get the business. And sometimes that means doing things that are outside of our comfort zone. It means introducing ourselves to strangers at networking group meetings. But I've heard a lot of success stories with networking groups.
Yeah, and Tim's chiming in here. Yes, your network improves your net worth. I want to touch a little bit on this, Pete, because I think when people go and they go to network, they think like they almost freeze up in a way. Like, how can I get the most out of this without looking at it as like, how can I make friends here? Right? Because you never know if just getting that referral gets you something for someone else. Right. So let me give you an example. So I've taken the standpoint of like, when I go to a network group is that, or a conference is, you ever heard this phrase, and I'm not trying to be gender specific here, but you heard the phrase, I got a guy, right? I got a guy who, I got a lawn guy, or I got insert guy with whatever gender you want, doesn't matter. I've got a person who, does podcasting. I've got a person who's an expert in mattress furniture, whatever. I've got a person who knows a little bit about sleep. I've got a person, you want to be that person, right? You want to be that person that somebody goes, I got a guy who's in the mattress industry. Like, you want to be that comfortable pair of shoes that people can just kind of like throw stuff to you. When you become that expert, there's certain things that you're not willing to do. So like, the mattress industry, Pete, is not just about selling rectangles, right? There's lots of things that are involved in that industry. And you've got people that are in the Mattress Industry Network that specialize in some of those things. Send people there. Send people to those people who specialize. You're going to get back something that you specialize in because you're the guy, the person in that specialty. And so become known as, so for me, I don't build people's studios. So Pete, you said to me, hey, Chris, I really need somebody to go, take my room here and turn it into a podcast studio. I really want to, get this and get that and have the right, lighting and all that stuff. I can do that, but I don't specialize in that. But I can tell you what, I've got a guy and I send people business to that person. And then I have an agreement with that person, right? That there's a kickback for that. And I don't just do it because I want a kickback. I do it because I know that person is going to do the right thing for either one of my clients or a potential client. So there's that whole thing that people forget about in networking. It's not just about what you can get out of the people that you meet. It's about getting things and doing things for those people in network and have it come back to you. In addition to being proactive, which is what Stu's talking about. Stu says, I got a guy for everything except black market organs. Well, Stu, I got a guy for you then. No, I'm kidding.
Just call Chris, or, Chris will tell you in the green room next week. Jeremy says, I cannot comment, so I'll hang in the chat. What is BNI? It's a networking group. Just put BNI in Google. It'll pop up. It's a business networking group. They have chapters all throughout the country. They're pretty big, pretty active, and I've had some dealers that have had some pretty good success with it. I'm pretty pleased with it. So, I think
Jeremy, you're actually hanging backstage on the live show. So if you wanted to join and be on camera. You're welcome to join. You just need to turn your camera on and your mic on, and we'll pop you on the screen right
Yeah.
here. But you're hanging backstage. You're more than welcome, Jeremy, to come on. If you want to hang backstage, there's space back there for you. Have some orange juice and cookies. Compliments of Pete Primo there backstage.
Andy, did we answer your question for you? Good reputation's important. Getting favorable terms on the sale of the business. So yes, I would be open to it, but here's the thing that you have to ask yourself: what are the moving parts that I can change and improve to make it even better? Whether it was slightly losing money or if it was slightly making money, what can I do to move the needle and improve it? If you work there, Andy, here's a great question. What are the ideas that I've had over the years that have fallen on deaf ears, that have never been implemented, that I think customers today would embrace and they would love coming back into the store and making a purchase here if we implemented A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So a few thoughts for you. Andy, feel free to keep commenting and we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Nothing else with Andy that you can see?
Not yet. We do have some other stuff coming in. Tim M, love that you're joining us. Tim, back on the networking commentary here. Tim joined a networking group 6 months ago, and it's been amazing, especially to build a rapport with a customer in his store. And he's saying, when I can give somebody something before they give me something, we both win. That's awesome. I mean, that's the right mindset, I think. I think when you go to market, when you go to conferences, when you go to networking thing, I think you don't want to come across as the person who's trying to sell you on something all the time. You just want to, be that comfortable pair of shoes. And Andy is joining from his YouTube account. He says he's good. So apparently, all his questions have been answered. So
Okay, good. Yeah, don't be afraid of it, Andy. Embrace it, analyze it. You saw my number, Andy, 419-560-3169. I'm driving all afternoon after the show, so feel free to call me with any questions that you've got that you may not want to put out here publicly. So what else we got there?
We got Gary in Oklahoma. Gary's worried about the future. Doesn't have a flux capacitor and a DeLorean, and can't go back to the future. No, Back to the Future, Pete. Fan of the shows or fan of the movies?
You're
No,
familiar with DeLoreans as well.
I don't mean to make light, Gary, because this is a serious question. I'm worried about the future. Customers aren't coming in like they used to with inflation and wars. I'm wondering what you think 2024 will be like for the mattress industry. Whew, that's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one. So, Gary, you have to understand something about me. I'm probably the most optimistic person you're ever going to meet, probably to a fault. One of my bosses, when I was with Serta Mattress Company, said, Pete, you would go after Moby Dick with the tartar sauce in the boat rowing. And I said, absolutely. Absolutely. And I got to tell you something. I've had a lifetime. I'm 63. I've had a lifetime blessed with just insane success. And so, yes, I expect to win. And so, what do I think the future holds in 2024? If you want me to cut to the chase, I will cut to the chase. 2024 will look a lot like 2023. It might get worse. I don't see any reason for it to get better, but I will say this to you. Is Gary's a retail store owner, I'm assuming? Probably a mattress store owner.
Not seeing it. Just Gary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. There's nothing that I can do about wars except pray. And to Stu's point, he joined a networking group and he did it before he had to. He did it before business got really slow. He he basically dug his well before he was thirsty. If you haven't dug your well and now you're thirsty, you need to dig the well now today as fast as you can. And so that means getting creative, and that means controlling the controllables, and letting go the things that you can't control. So if you're spending an hour or two or three or four a day watching the news and watching things blow up, um, you know, that's not productive. I don't want to sound like I don't care. I do care. I care deeply. Um, but you can't do anything about it. Your time is better off invested in how do I get customers in my store, and how, when they come into the store, do I deliver them the best experience of any store within 50 or 60 miles. That needs to be your your focus. And so um I don't think 2024 is going to be great, but I will say this to you. It's going to be great for me. Guaranteed. It's going to be great for me. And I'll tell you why. Because I will do whatever I have to do to make it happen. And if that means I work more than I'd like to work, then I work more than I'd like to work. Um, One of the things that I would encourage you to do when we have the wrong friends and we watch a lot of news, we betray ourselves. We literally piss away our life. And I'm just going to beg you, if you're doing it, and you may not be doing it, stop doing it. If you've already stopped doing it, what can we do? Can we join a networking group? Can you do road signs? What can you do? Can you introduce yourself to your neighbors? Do you know everybody up and down the street within 10 stores? Have you introduced yourself to all the local businesses? Have you looked for cross marketing opportunities with other stores that practically cost you nothing? So start to really dig in, decide that you're going to win, and be thankful for everything that happens that's good. One of the things that's happened this year is that we are selling more high-end beds than ever before. And so if you haven't merchandised up, you need to merchandise up. You need to take some chances. You need to make sure that if in your market there are two-sided beds being sold, and you only know that if you shop your competition, um, then you have some two-sided beds. And if nobody has split head beds in your market, you be the first to have them, because it's a thing. It's getting bigger and bigger. Every market, more and more manufacturers are offering split heads, um, where the bottom of the mattress is together and the heads are independent of each other, like in the Sleep Number commercial. So with that said, I think it's going to be slow. I think we need to be very, very, very thankful, and we need to be very deliberate with our time. I see you chomping at the bit there, Chris Stone. What say you, brother?
Does it look like I'm chomping at the bit?
It does. It looks
No, I'm
like you've
listening.
got something to say. So
Doesn't
say it.
it?
I love it.
I'm wearing it on my face. I I just think like everyone's business ebbs and flows. Mine does. And I'm not I can't identify completely with someone in the mattress industry, but what I can tell you, and you kind of at the very end, Pete, you alluded to it. We're in control of how our attitudes, right? It's the whole ABC method Victor Antonio talks about. Your attitude controls your beliefs, which is your consequences. And so if business isn't good, what are you doing about it? Is your your immediate thought is like, oh crap, I'm not going to be making as much money. Or how can I utilize that time, that extra time that I now have, and be intentional about building myself better, building, my leadership for the team that I'm sort of responsible for, my business. To your point, looking for opportunities to build it, as opposed to sort of sitting back. And then when business does go back up, you have some great new habits that continue to build on it. And Stu is here in the chat and sort of speaking to that. All we can change is ourselves and our store. I don't focus or worry about the competition or the election or the economy. Me and my team are going to improve constantly. It's gas time, not brakes.
I love that. Stu, we are going to have some fireworks here next week, brother.
We're cooking with gas. Speaking of cooking with gas, the Lord of Bancroft, Canada is in the house. Nothing Stops Me, the book from Patrick Tinney. If you haven't gotten it, Pete is reaching for it. The audio listeners, Pete is reaching for the book, Nothing Stops Me. Links will be in the show notes. I don't know, book cover of the year, I'm thinking.
Oh,
Pete,
yeah.
what do you think?
Oh, for sure. That's
I
the best
mean,
book
doesn't
cover I've
everybody
ever
want to
seen.
fly? Seriously, that's immediately what I'm thinking when I see that cover. Is
And
like,
if you don't want that book from Pat, get this one.
boom.
Or this one.
Boom.
Great negotiating book. And this one, Perpetual Hunger. Everybody needs to read that. Everybody needs to read everything Pat puts out.
So Pete, speaking about what we're speaking about, and sort of now that Lord Tinney is in the house and in the chat as well, you talked about his books, and obviously, Nothing Stops Me is about rising above all of this that Patrick's gone through in his life.
Yeah.
And I know there's some tactical things that he's talked about. And, like, listen, if business is down a little bit for you and you're not able to, pay your Hulu bill this month or something like that, wait till you find out what happened to Patrick and Nothing Stops Me. And you think you got it bad?
Yeah.
Man, that ain't nothing, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's some tactical things that happened, that Patrick was able to do, that you've been able to do in your experience, to say, okay, some of the stuff I'm just not in control of. Here's what I am in control of, and here's what I'm going to do. And I think that's really what we're talking about is, what can someone do what they're in control of and actually move forward with some practical things in the midst of inflation, the war, all of these things that are going to affect the mattress business.
Yeah.
What are some things that maybe you would do? Maybe from the Tinney books, maybe yourself, that you could apply.
Wake up every day and be thankful. Pray. If you believe, pray. And my first prayer every day is, thank you, Lord, for waking me up. Thank you for giving me this day, and help me be who I should be. Help me to be a good son to you, Father in heaven. That's my prayer that I say every day, every day. It's a prayer of thanksgiving, and it's a prayer of opportunity. Patrick Tinney, must keep asking yourself, what am I grateful for? Yeah, we're on the same page.
Attitude of gratitude, baby. That Zig Ziglar thing. We've got a couple of. Now, this gives me an opportunity to before we read this,
Go ahead,
comment
do the
here.
technical comment.
Yes, technical. Let me get my nerd on here for a second. So, Facebook user, whoever you are, if you go to, and I think I have a banner for this, so I'll just leave this up on the screen. This basically means, like, you haven't given Facebook the ability to say, hey, we're going to use your name and your little avatar to pop up on the screen. So if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, Facebook user, whoever made that comment, I'm going to go and see if I can find who this is. That will basically mean when you come into our broadcast, we see your name and we get your little picture, whatever you've decided to put up on Facebook as your avatar. So there you go, Facebook user. Please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and we'd love to be able to see who you are. But Facebook user, we are going to answer your question because it's Ask Pete. Over the past 3 months, we have almost doubled our adjustable bed orders because of the split head mattresses. Lots of TXL, not sure what that means. What does that mean?
Twin XL.
Twin XL and split queen bases. Customers want the split head beds. BIA has been great for us. And this
Well,
is Randy Thompson.
hey, Randy, how are you, brother? God willing, I might see you today if you're at work. I'm heading to Chicago. I've got a couple customers meeting me in Chicago tomorrow, and I'm trying to get to your place. We'll have to see how the timing works out. So yes, and thank you. I would say this, that our friends at Sleep Number have done a great job of advertising split heads and actually making it a thing. There are people that see those split heads and they don't want an air bed. They don't want anything to do with an air bed. They just want a regular mattress. And when you offer regular mattresses, whether they be foam or hybrids, in that configuration, two things happen for you automatically. If they buy a split head queen or a split head king, you automatically get an adjustable bed sale, and you almost always automatically get a protector and a sheet sale along with it, because they're changing their configuration of their mattress size. So great points. And I would like to say this: Randy's nickname is the adjustable bed guru.
Former guest of the show.
Former guest of the show, friend of the show, and
FOS.
Randy, you saw this early. You were one of the very first guys to start really going after the adjustable bed base business in a meaningful way. And you saw the opportunity with the split heads long before anybody else. So you have been putting yourself in a great position. And guys, Randy's store is in Van Wert, Ohio. I think the population is under 12,000, might even be under 11,000, but for sure it's under 12,000 people. So it's not a large metropolitan area. And he's been very successful with split heads and very successful with adjustable beds. So anybody that wants to learn how to sell adjustable beds, call Randy and go to one of his seminars, and you will be well rewarded. 15 years ago this month was the start of my adjustable bed explosion. 15 years ago.
The fact is, like, the start of my explosion. I mean, that's awesome.
That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Randy, for letting us know that, because that's literally going to where the puck is going, not where the puck is.
Does Randy have something available outside of him? I know he goes and he travels and does these seminars. Does he have things available for people who aren't able to travel to where he's at? Is he have courses or anything that
I don't believe he has.
or YouTube channel?
Do you have any courses? Have you made a video course yet? Or are you still just doing it in person?
I think a lot of people look at that, the levels of success that he's had.
Oh, yeah.
And are like, okay, even if it's just little nuggets. I think this is the other thing about improving yourself, right? Is like, you're never going to be like a complete carbon copy of Randy Thompson, right? There is only one Randy Thompson he's taken, but success leaves clues, right? So I think there's an opportunity for you to take a little bit from what maybe Randy's doing, take a little bit from what Pete Primeau's doing, take a little bit of Jeff Janakovo, Trumbo. Like, these guys are all like, they're doing some of these things. You don't have to do everything that they're doing. In fact, you shouldn't. You'll never get anything done. But you can take little things, little success clues from these guys, and end up okay. So he's just no courses, just in-person training. I don't know, Randy. Opportunity right there for a lot of people to that would pay good money for some courses that you just record once. Just saying. But
And we know somebody that might be able to help you too.
yeah, I know. I know a guy, right? Tim M. Do you know Tim's last name?
McDonald.
McDonald. Okay, so Tim, I know a Tim McDonald as well. It doesn't look like this Tim McDonald. So, but anyway, Tim says what we did during COVID and today's market, we went all in on premium goods, while others are timid to order. We doubled up. That's an interesting strategy.
No, it was the right strategy. It is the right strategy now. I'll never forget this. Thank you for sharing that, Tim. I'm going to share with you a true story. I'm not going to use the name because there's no point in it. The guy's no longer in the mattress industry. The guy's no longer in business. He may not even be alive anymore. But I remember him saying to me, Pete, I stopped advertising, a month ago. I said, really? And I go, how's it going? He goes, it's great. I don't have that advertising bill anymore. He goes, I actually made a little bit of money this month. I said, wow, that's great. So every month I would stop in. So are you advertising? Nope. He goes, not advertising at all. I'm making a little less than I was making, but you know what? Not having that advertising bill is great. I'm happier than can be. And guys, do I have to take this through 10 or 12 months and tell you that he put himself out of business? Because that's what happened. He put himself out of business. And every month he made an excuse. Well, it's really not that bad. And at least I don't have that nasty advertising bill. I hated that advertising bill. That advertising bill really sucked. And I don't have it anymore. And it doesn't matter that I'm losing money because I hate that advertising bill and I don't have it anymore. And he literally put himself out of business. And it was insane to watch.
Yep.
And did I try? Yeah, I tried to talk him off the ledge. I said, well, the way this is going, do you see this improving anytime soon? Because it looks like it's just kind of going downward.
Yeah.
He goes, well, whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to have that advertising bill. And I'm laughing because it was the saddest thing in the world. And I have a choice to laugh at stupidity or to cry. And I choose to laugh instead of cry. I'm not happy over his demise, but it was completely and totally self-inflicted. If we're in business, folks, we have to advertise. We have to be out there. We have to be creative. We have to constantly be on the hunt for ways to improve our business. And whether that's joining a networking group or that's doing some creative guerrilla marketing, somebody opens a new store in your area, you know what? Put big signs all over your store. Now open. Now open. It's the greatest guerrilla tactic in the world. Still the grand opening thunder.
Sure.
Now open. So
curiosity. I haven't seen this. They're now open. What is this? What's going on? I think you struck a chord with a number of people. So we've got some stuff going on here. Patrick says, always be a contrarian. That is where the money will be.
Well, I was born a contrarian, Patrick, so I don't have a choice. I was always asking why, and I don't think so. And show me. I'm surprised I was born in Schenectady, New York, and that I wasn't born in Missouri because I should have been born in the show me state because that I am always been a contrarian.
Stu's saying that this advertising person that you're talking about, the pre-internet days, you could probably be successful with that mentality.
No, he wasn't. He went out of business. It didn't work then. It doesn't work now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially when they're talking about marketing, because it is a cost center, right? I mean, you're paying money, and there's a lot of times you don't see a specific like return on whatever that investment is, whether it's a billboard you put up in paid, and it's like, okay, this is costing me X thousands of dollars a month. How do I know if that really did turn into any sales? You really don't. I mean, there's analytics and there's the amount of people that saw this and impressions and all of those things. And maybe you ask people, how did you hear about us? Right? How did you, how many of them are saying, oh, I saw a billboard, right? Or I saw an ad on Facebook, or how many people are really doing that? You can continue to ask them, but the chances are, I don't know whatever the math is, it takes like 72 times for it to really, make an impression on someone. So there is just it's tough for people to say, okay, I'm going to invest, X thousands of dollars on a podcast, or I'm going to X thousands of dollars on Facebook advertising or a YouTube channel, and I'm going to bring in somebody to do that. All of those things, you're not going to see money back. And you feel like that maybe, Pete, is what's keeping people from continuing on that. They're giving it like a small sample size. They're saying, okay, I'm going to give this 3 months. And this is going to be my test. And if I don't see anything out of this and my business doesn't go up, then that was a failure and I'm just going to move away from it. Do you think that's the reason why they're doing that, Pete? Because they're not seeing that quick result from that?
I think that we can make a mistake in giving some things too long and some things not enough time that could have been great. And so I think you have to really understand it. And that's why networking is so important. I'm not just networking with other businesses in the area, which is important, but Mattress Industry Network Group, where we're running this out of today, is a huge opportunity for everybody. And if you have friends that you care about in the industry and they're not in this group, you owe it to them and everything that you believe in that's good to get them into this group, because friends don't let friends flounder. Friends don't let friends be uneducated. And getting an education from other store owners and understanding what is a reasonable amount of time for a particular type of advertising. Um, you know, P.T. Barnum had the famous quote, I'd love, you know, I'd love to know, which half of my advertising's working. I know half of it's wasted. I'd like to know what half of it's working. But that never slowed him down. And, we still talk about the circus and his circuses in particular, 100 years later. Right. So, be a showman in your business. Be aggressive with your business. And it doesn't have to be a huge budget, but also be educated and really talk to a lot of people that own mattress stores, like you own mattress stores. And you're going to find a lot of different opinions. But after you get through a certain amount of people, you're going to start to see things that keep repeating themselves. Those are called truths. Those are called things that you need to do. And the one-offs, just write them off. But I'm a big believer in testing things. I'm also a big believer in understanding what is a fair amount of time as well. You know, this show, if I did it on clicks and likes, and I would have closed this thing down so long ago, it wouldn't be funny. But almost every week I have somebody that calls me, somebody that talks to me. I walk into a store and they said, hey, I saw a show, blah, 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 and I really got something out of it. And thank you for doing this. And then I'm like, okay, we'll keep going. And so don't think that doesn't happen for me. This show's not for free, and it doesn't generate money. It's an advertising cost and it's a marketing cost, but it's also a love letter back to the industry that took a poor kid from Schenectady, New York, and helped make him live very, very comfortably and have a life that he couldn't have ever dreamed of. So that's what this show is all about. This is a thank you letter. It's a love letter back to the industry that has done so much for me over the years. So sorry I went off on a tangent.
No, I love that.
I,
I
I'm
love that.
Squirrel. I know Justin. If
That's a
Justin's
good
watching
squirrel.
this, Justin is going squirrel, squirrel. I can't read. There's a comment in there. Can you
Yeah, I've got it. I'm so Jeremy. Thank you for joining us on the show. So Jeremy is backstage and he's hitting us up in the private chat with some commentary. So I'm gonna. It's very long, but I'm gonna piecemeal it out here. So
Okay.
I definitely want to upscale my biz. I want to stop making other people, and in parentheses, my bosses, more money and start making myself money. I have a family to include and want to help provide for. My accountant, however, told me to stop putting money into this business. Suggestions to grow without dumping. So apparently, Jeremy wants suggestions to grow without dumping more into it. Last month was their biggest month ever. And based on last month, the numbers, he could hire 3 helpers, where in the other months he couldn't afford to pay himself. Wow. Biggest month ever, and now can afford 3 helpers. So he's getting a suggestion from the accountant to stop putting money into this business. And he wants to be able to use that money for himself. And he's had such a great month that he's saying, okay, I can hire 3 helpers to do this.
Jeremy, is this full time for you or part time for you?
So I think, while we wait on Jeremy's response for that, Pete, I think a lot of this is, and it kind of goes back to what Jeff Janakova talks about, is living life on your terms, right? Are you in this to make more money? Are you in this to have more time that you can carve out for your family and for things that are more, maybe, important to you? But maybe you are passionate about this business, and maybe it is just it is to make more money. I don't know, but I think this is a very specific thing. Like if you're having a good month, right, and now you can afford 3 people, but your accountant's saying don't invest more in this business. I mean, there's are we when things are going really well? Are we reacting to the flash as much as we're reacting when things don't go well? And how do you kind of like stay in the middle there and kind of keep the business flowing in the right direction?
So while I'm waiting for that, Jeremy, I'm going to say this about accountants, and I'm married to an accountant, and I love my accountant very much, but she's much more than an accountant now. That she's been in this business with me for 18 years. Accountants look at numbers and they give you feedback. They don't know everything that you're doing right. They don't know everything that you're doing wrong. They have no vision for your business. They don't know your business. Your accountant probably is not an expert in the mattress industry. So this accountant does not understand the things that you could do to improve your business. And, you're on the Zoom calls on Friday, and here you are again today. Let me tell you something, brother. This is what you are. You are hungry, and hungry people win. It's just a matter of getting the right combination of things. So I would continue to do everything that you can to make your business go in the right direction. And again, Jeremy, my cell is 419-560-3169. Call me. I'll be driving. I'm driving so much this week. It's ridiculous. I'm driving to Chicago. I have 2 appointments in Chicago. Then I'm gonna end up in New Jersey at the end of the week. So I'm driving and driving and driving some more. And but I would just say this: as soon as you can, And I'm going to tell you a funny story about a sales rep that I knew. This sales rep found himself in a position where he had a house payment that he could barely afford. And the sales rep didn't have a computer because they didn't have computers yet available to people. He had a fax machine and he had a phone and he had a big desk in his house and he didn't have enough gas to put in his car. Okay. And he said, I can't visit the stores because I don't have enough money to put gas in my car. So, what I need to do is I need to call every one of my dealers every week and help them to the best of his ability. That was me. I couldn't put gas in my car. I could only do a week at a time out in the field and then 3 weeks in my house on the phone, sending faxes to everybody. I would sell every promotion that we ever had when I was at United Sleep Products. Every promotion I ever had, I would sell them out before the other reps could even get it out in the field. Why? Because I wasn't out on the road. I couldn't be out on the road because I didn't have the money to be out on the road. And so what I did is I used the phone and I used the fax machine because those are the only two tools I had to make money. And then when business got a little bit better, my commission checks started getting a little bit more. Guess what I got to do? You guessed it. I got to go out 2 days a week, two weeks a month, and then 3 weeks a month. And then I got to go out all the time. And so this is what I'm saying for you, how it applies to you. Don't hire 3 guys, even though you could hire one. Just put one foot in front of the other, take some of the pressure off of yourself, leverage other people that you can afford to leverage so that you don't have to do all the work. Because I know if you have a regular job somewhere else and you're doing deliveries at night that you're barely seeing your family, I understand that. I've been there. I understand it. And leverage whoever you can leverage to help make your life easier, and do it a step at a time. And before you know it, you'll be able to do the business full time. And then, you can walk away from the other job. And if you can do that in this economy, my friend, wait till business gets good. I mean, if you're building this precise machine that generates good revenue and good profit in the leanest of times, whoa, oh, Nelly, when it gets good, it's really going to get good. And you are going to be making money hand over fist, and you're going to be having the time of your life. So, sorry, I went into a big old thing about my past, but I wanted you to understand that nothing is static. Either you're moving ahead or you're not moving ahead. And you seem to have momentum. You seem to be moving ahead. You seem to be hungry. And that's where it all starts. Now, just make sure you're implementing a little bit at a time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't hire 3 people just because you can based on 1 month, but do it a step at a time. I've watched Chris building his team over the time that we've been together, and he does it like a person at a time, and he's got a great team. And, free up your time so that you can have the kind of life that you want. And yes, I agree with Jeff Janakovo. Live life on your terms. But I am also going to tell you this. Sometimes you have to work 10 times harder than a human being should work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do. And there are times when I do, still to this day. Now, what's driving me? It's not money. Do you know what's driving me? It's your money, Jeremy. It's guys like you It's your success story from having a job in a part-time store to a full-time job and being a store owner and then having the dream life that you want to have. That's what fuels me today. So sorry I went off on a speech.
No, this is great stuff. This is what we call tweetable. Although we can't say tweet anymore, I guess, because now it's X. But
Patrick, yeah, turn adversity into rocket fuel. Absolutely.
And we've got Gregory Gent in the house with a thumbs up. So people are loving this as well. And then Robert Mitzel or Mitzel.
Slow and steady. Yeah, Rob, I agree with you. Slow and steady wins the race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And, you know, a lot of people won't remember this book, but it was called Winning Through Intimidation by Robert Ringer. And it sounds horrible, but when you really read it, it really is not nearly as awful as it sounds. And really what he was talking about was being insanely valuable to your clients. That's really what he was talking about. And he talks about the tortoise and the hare in that book. Did you ever read that book, Chris?
The Tortoise and the Hare?
Where he talks about the tortoise and the hare.
No, not the book you're talking about.
Intimidation.
Yeah. Right.
He said, if you slow down enough so that I can't pass you on the right, I'll pass you on the left. If I can't pass you on the left, I'll jump over you. I will do whatever I have to do to win. And that was his philosophy. There was nothing he was not going to do for his clients to help his clients win. And so very, very interesting title that appealed to my Neanderthal human being that I was at that point. Actually made me a better human being. It's funny how God turns things around like that and helps us to become better. What can you read this comment? Is that Jeremy?
From Jeremy? Yes. So Jeremy says, sweet, I rock out about 55 hours a week outside work and then work my store every night from 2 until I'm done at night and all day Saturday. Thanks for sharing. Sounds like I need to do more door knocking. That's a lot. I mean, listen, you know, take care of yourself, right? That's it's huge, right? I mean, if you're in the business of waking up happy, you know, and pain free, you got to keep yourself happy and pain free, right? You got to take care of the 3 legs of the stool yourself, or else you're not going to be alive to go knocking on doors.
That's
right?
great. That's great advice, Rob, that you gave to Jeremy. Slow and steady does win the race. Bob Sherman, years and years ago, when I was at CERTA, he said, Pete, he goes, you work so hard. He goes, I don't want you to stop working hard, but I do want you to slow down just a little bit because you don't have to work the way you're working. You're working too much. And if you just work a little bit less, you'll actually be more effective because you're going to be well rested. And when you're well rested, you're sharp. And when you're sharp, that's when you're creative, and your creativity. And this is for all you retail salespeople and all you store owners. Your creativity is the greatest gift you'll ever give to your customer. Your creativity is the greatest gift you'll ever give to your customer because they got the same answers from every other sleep shop, but you gave them a different idea, a more complete idea, a better, more creative idea on how they can wake up happy and pain-free. And they're going to love you for it. They're going to give you the business, and they're going to be the customer that refers. They're going to be the customer that gives you the 5-star online review. They're going to be the customer that gives you the testimonials and does everything they can to help you build your business because you gave them something nobody else did. We ran out of time, my friend.
I love it. No, I just to put a bow on it. I think That reminds me, Dan Jordan, as many shows as I've done with him, he said this, a gazillion times. And that is, the only difference between what this person is selling and what you're selling is you.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only difference. Now you can say, well, the price that they have versus the price. Listen, it's like maybe your price is a little bit more. But if your customer looks at it and goes, I don't know what it is, there's just something about this store. There's something about this person. I want to buy it from this person.
Yeah.
Be that person. Be, you are the difference between what somebody is doing to sell units and just to make money, and you are actually doing something to make that person's life better. And so that is really just, I'm stealing from Dan Jordan, but I steal from everybody. I don't have an original idea,
No,
but
I say the same thing all the time. I have no original ideas. I just I adapt and I take from other people and I embrace and I act on ideas that I think are good. But I will say this, people read your heart. Thank you guys. They read your heart. When they come into your store has a feeling to it. And it's a reflection of what's in your heart, what's in your brain. If your heart and your brain are both in the right place, you're going to do business that you can't even begin to imagine. And you won't even know exactly why. But people do business with people they trust, and they don't do business with people they don't trust. And some people get really sad faces when I say this. When you ask me the question, what do I need to do to be trusted? And I say, be trustworthy. You have to be trustworthy. And so that starts with yourself. Look in the mirror. Do you like who you see? If you don't, change him or her. And that sounds brutal, but it's not. It's the most kindest, lovingest thing I could ever say to you. And you set up your own success, and it really starts from the inside out. We've all heard some version of that, but your store has a feeling, and that feeling should be good. You should be glad to see your customers. You should welcome them into the store just like somebody would come into your house.
Yep.
Same
Absolutely.
feeling. You're glad to see them. If you're glad to see them, they'll be glad to be there. And if you're not glad, if you're an interruption, if you make your customer feel like an interruption, they're not buying from you. And really good salespeople tell me this all the time. I know within 5 or 10 seconds if they're going to buy from me or not. Yeah, because they make up their mind whether they're going to buy from you in the first 5 to 10 seconds. They really do. And it's not something that they logically do. It's a gut feeling. So be on that right side. And the right side of that starts with thankfulness every day. And it starts with your heart being in the right place, wanting to do the right thing. I hope you're not charging me by the minute, my friend, because we're way over. Guys,
tons of value today. Appreciate everybody for joining. Patrick and Stu and Gregory and Hubert. I think I'm going to read this aloud. I know we've got to run, but Pete, this may be something that we maybe you go into the Mattress Industry Network and answer. But we've got a question here from Hubert Walton. What are some advertising ideas during the holidays that you've seen work? So we don't have time to cover that off right now, Hubert, but I could see Pete taking a note for that. And if there's anybody I know that's going to get back to you, it's going to be Dr. Primeau on that. So thanks, everybody, for joining. Randy Thompson, maybe make some virtual classes. That's just, a little thing for you, because there's a lot of people you could help, I think, virtually as well, with some courses available digitally. Anyway, that's just me.
Thanks, everybody. Great show. Chris, thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Sell
a million.